You're listening to Bitch Said What with Cooper and Sabrina, a podcast by thirsty bitches for thirsty bitches.
In today's episode, we talk British television, bananas going extinct, light bulbs, arranged marriages, and owning physical DVDs.
So stick around to learn how you can enter the lottery to be Sabrina's significant other. Purchase not required to enter.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Just woke up from a nap. Obviously being the most functional I can be. Doing great.
That makes me so happy. And can I just say, it's so nice to see your face again. Like, it's been almost 2 weeks since I last talked to you. And honestly, I'm kind of going through like Sabrina withdrawals.
Oh no. Oh my God, that's right. Yeah, we had to delay this podcast episode recording by almost a full week. Thanks for bearing with me there.
Yeah, and like I kind of noticed like two main symptoms. The first one is I feel like since I don't get to banter with you, I've kind of been like arguing with strangers. Like this poor lady at the supermarket. I just dug into her over coupons.
No.
Just kidding, I don't leave the house, but
I could totally believe that though.
Oh no, I feel like I can never be like rude to like a stranger. Only to my closest friends, you know.
No, but like I could just imagine you being like, I just haven't argued with anyone in a while. I'm so sorry.
I just need to pick a fight. I just need to like I'm itching to pick a fight.
Yeah, just being a little extra edge to it.
And I've noticed is I just feel very clueless about like what the stars are wanting me to do. So I'm just feel like I'm walking around blind. I'm just like, does Jupiter want me to do this or do that? And it's rough.
No, I get it. It's rough. Yeah.
So
it's rough. You need the insight, you know?
You have no idea how much I depend on these.
Well, I've missed it too. I have definitely been lacking in life the last 2 weeks. So this was just the energy bug I needed.
Well, since we've last talked, I don't know what got in my head. The other day, like I realized that like, study with me videos would be like really easy to make. And I'm like, I think that'd be a fun way, something to post on YouTube. So I created a study with me video for YouTube. And it even got a comment being like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like I used this to like mind map my essay I was doing. And I'm just like, oh, that's awesome.
Oh my God, look at you. Also, thanks for waiting 2 weeks to tell me about this. Because save it for the pod, what have you. But like, I could have used that.
Oh, yeah.
Like the last week and a half, we've been delayed because I've been studying.
Oh, yeah. Well, I created it. So, what happened was like my camera stopped like recording like 30-ish minutes in. But I just decided like, I'll just make it like a loopable video. So like it has like one study chunk and like one break chunk, and like you can loop videos on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, hey, you can just like loop this video as many times as you need, and so it's really like an infinitely long video.
Mm-hmm. That just gets you all the views. Although those ones are harder to monetize, I think. It's hard to put like an ad in the middle of a study with me video, you know, because it's very like jarring, I would think.
But I also think it's like pretty easy content to create, and I really like that. It's just like I can just like record me reading and like make money off of it hypothetically, although I'm going to make zero money off of this video. But I was thinking, what if I created like a line of videos of just like me doing my everyday life?
Ooh.
So I've wrote a couple down. So what about eat with me videos? So like someone who's like single and doesn't want to go to a restaurant and eat alone, they could like prop up their iPad and that could be me eating a meal, you know, on video with them.
You know, those are a thing already, right?
Are you talking about like mukbangs?
Yeah, that's the purpose of a mukbang for so many people, is to eat with someone. It's like really helpful psychologically for people, for many people who have like eating disorders and stuff, to like eat with someone else.
Okay, so that one's not original. But what about sleep with me videos? So I like record myself sleeping, and maybe if someone doesn't want to sleep alone, they could like put me their iPhone next to them in bed and we can sleep together. Because you know the world is wanting to sleep with me.
I know a few, yeah. Um,
You're just
uh,
like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
it's not, but again, I was gonna be like, I think I've heard of that before because I think I remember hearing a story about a woman who like live streamed her life and like something happened in like the middle of sleeping or something, or just again, people live streaming their sleeping because
Yeah.
people want to like watch that.
Would just like love if I could just like monetize my whole life and just be like,
Same.
it's like, I already think my life's great. Like, I'm sure other people will enjoy it too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have a couple more. I have Walk with Me. And I also have Watch Netflix with Me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that could be romantic. I could have candles out and
Yeah. Can be romantic or just like platonic of like watching a
yeah,
Netflix show with a friend.
like hypothetically, I could do like, oh, let's watch a football game together, but I would never watch a football game, so that
You'd
wouldn't
be
be
like, wait, so what just happened?
that wouldn't be fun for me. But
No.
I also think I could like expand this, filming my life into like a more X-rated version, and have like an OnlyFans that's like watch porn with me, and
There
for
we
those who
go.
don't want to watch porn alone.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is the important things I've been thinking about since
Mm-hmm.
we last talked.
I think like a clean with me would also be really successful because I feel like people like watching other people clean and then they'd be like, oh, now I'm going to clean. It's
I guess the issue is like I don't do a lot of cleaning in my everyday life, and like it's supposed to be like recording things I already do. So
right.
yeah,
Yeah. If you're not cleaning, you can't film yourself cleaning.
yeah. Unfortunately,
Hmm.
I'll let you know how my franchise of just like selling my life to other people goes.
Please do, because like I think you could make good money off this, and I'm curious to see if you find success. Because if it's been one of the things that I've always been curious about doing, like how fast would I be able to make money from all that?
Yeah. Um, I don't think fast. Like I think some people get lucky on like those platforms and
Mm-hmm.
like grow a lot, but like I think most people don't. But like one thing that I thought was well, actually, I remember like what like sparked me to create a video. Like I randomly because like we upload our videos to YouTube, so like I'm regularly like going into like our podcast is YouTube, like
Mm-hmm.
um YouTube Studio and like uploading things. But I accidentally went into my old YouTube channel and I saw that like I had like 100 views like in the past month. And then I had like 2 subscribers. I'm like, oh, even like when I'm not uploading and I haven't uploaded in like a fucking year, I'm getting like views and people subscribing and liking my videos. I'm like, maybe I should like start doing that again.
Yeah, always a possibility. You never know what could happen.
Yeah, because I had like a fairly good niche like for my YouTube channel. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was going to do like transfer videos and like, I could still do those. And
I like the idea. I'm a sucker for anything that's like fun and passionate and like creative, and it definitely gives you that.
exactly. I just love things to waste my time in and to plant seeds that will never bear fruit.
Mhm. Sounds healthier than how I waste my time.
I don't know. But anyway, speaking of YouTube, uh, and all these like, as our listeners will know, I watch a lot of random ass YouTube videos, and
Mhm.
one I watched recently was about bananas.
Bananas. That's bananas. What about bananas?
Did you know that the bananas we eat now, is like a different like? Have you ever had like old people say like, "Oh, bananas used to be sweeter or better"?
Mhm. Yeah, I know that the current bananas we eat are like genetically modified intensely from like original bananas. Or like there are different strain of original
It's a
bananas.
different strain than like what they used to eat because like the bananas we eat are like all clones of each other. It's like
Mhm.
one banana. And like the old one that people liked, there was a fungus that like would take root in the plant and like slowly cut off the nutrition for like the banana tree. So like that like species or like strand of banana like got wiped out, but they had this current version of banana that we eat right now. But unfortunately, the same fungus that they thought this banana variation was immune to is now looks like it can attack these strands
Oh
because they're like
no.
mutated. So like our bananas might are like going extinct
Oh.
and like there isn't like a replacement strand of like or like variants of banana that like taste it like good and like that. It's like there's not a good contender to replace it with that's like immune to fungus thing.
Oh,
So if you like bananas, you need to go out and like start eating like bananas every day. Get your fucking fill of bananas because like
yeah.
at any time like they're gonna stop having bananas.
Or bananas. I I like bananas. They're one of they're on the list of food I shouldn't eat as much right now. So, as I'm like slowly working my way towards my FODMAP diet
You're
of like slowly.
you're what?
Have we not talked about FODMAPs?
No, I have no fucking idea what that is.
Oh, okay. I swear we've talked about it. So FODMAPs is a study and like science-backed nutrition thing about digestive issues. So for myself, I have done all the testing I can, checked all the little boxes to make sure there's no dire medical problem with my digestive system, and we haven't been able to find anything. There's no rhyme or reason to the digestive problems I have. Some days I'm fine, some days I'm not. There's no inherent thing being shown. So all of this leads to a FODMAP issue, and FODMAP is an acronym for all the different types of foods that can play together to irritate a body. And the FODMAP diet is where you go and you completely take out all the FODMAPs. And then you do that for 2 to 6 weeks. And then after all the FODMAPs are removed, you add in 1 or 2 at a time, or you add in one and then you remove that one and you add in a different one. And you do all of this for a week or two while you figure out which ones are causing the dietary issues. And then you would be able to eliminate that one from your holistic diet permanently, because you'll find out which one is actually aggravating you. And there are so many things that can be FODMAPs, and bananas are on the list. It's like you have to eat like a very, very ripe, small part of a banana, like half of a small banana is the allowed part of the diet. It's very restrictive. But yeah, so like fruits are like, for the most part, it's like a big wave of fruits, but no apples. And I was like, but I love apples. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. It's not true in the FODMAP diet.
Interesting, because like when you said FODMAP, I just kind of like pictured a diet. It's like, okay, you can only eat celery, and then we're going to slowly add in other, like something like crazy restrictive, and then we're going to slowly add in other foods. And it's like, gosh, that sounds awful. Like, what are you like?
Oh, can't do carrots or celery. Actually, those are carrots are fine. Celery is not. Fun fact.
Okay, that can't even make carrots. So it's like, okay, Sabrina, you're going to be drinking water, and then we're going to try adding one food in at a time. And
well, and like, yeah, so it is crazy restrictive, but it's not. Like, it's still like an ample list of things, but it's still kind of it's just very much like at home cooking lifestyle that I don't have. So I'm just like, yeah, once I have time, which everyone always says, it's like, well, to have time you have to make time, or like you can make, whatever.
Interesting. In other random ass YouTube videos I've watched, I also watched one about light bulbs and how, I actually already knew this, but light bulbs.
How do you get to these parts of YouTube? Like, my YouTube is straight up just like drama. I'm like, how do you fall into bananas and light bulbs?
Well, I watch a couple like channels that are kind of like this. I'm trying to remember like the guy, but see, I watched so many fucking YouTube videos, I can't even find it. But it's like the Veritasium YouTube channel is like the one that had like the light bulbs. And then like I think it was half as interesting had the bananas one, but I also watched like Vox and just like a bunch of these like informative YouTube channels. So, like that's why I fall in these weird like rabbit holes and interesting videos. But anyways,
Okay.
so like the video by Veritasium was on how there was a light bulb cartel in the early half of the 19th century, no, 20th century, that they came together to like set the lifespan of light bulbs, because if you have a light bulb that lasts for 300 hours or 3,000 hours, then like that's a long time, and like then you don't sell like light bulbs to consumers often. So what they did is they
Mhm.
came together and they figured out ways to make light bulbs last shorter, so like 1,000 hours. So they went from like light bulbs that last over 1,000 to just like trying to make them last less than 1,000, so that they could sell
Oh
light
my
bulbs to us
God.
more often, so they could take more of our money.
But we want light bulbs that last forever.
Yeah, that's not.
It's the opposite of what they want to do for us.
Yeah, so they're purposely making a worse product just so we have to keep buying it.
Boo. I hate that.
See, capitalism.
It fascinates me again that your YouTube, like, you're just like, yeah, I watch like Vox and informative videos. And I'm like, I've been watching frenemies compilations, drama channels, some makeup gets sprinkled in, and old lifestyle video vloggers who I didn't watch when they were like poppin' in 2014, 15, 16, because it was like, I don't get it anymore. And now they're like all I watch. And I was like, never would have known.
Yeah, well, like my YouTube like taste kind of changes by the day. Like, I've watched a lot of like Jeffree Star's YouTube videos. I've also watched a lot of like Shane Dawson or Trisha
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. It's just kind of I had like the flavor of the week,
Mm-hmm.
and but I've always like kind of have like a good mix of like random Vox videos because they create really cool stuff. Like
Mm-hmm. I
right
envied it.
now, I've been listening to. There's a guy. He runs a channel called Podcast Sage, and he like reviews like microphones. So I've been like listening to a lot of his ones, but I've also
I
been
love it.
watching a lot of British television on YouTube, because I don't know if it's because like our television system is like public, so like that's why it's a lot of it's on YouTube. You can watch a lot of like full like TV shows on YouTube. They're British,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's very interesting, like their sense of humor, and
Mm-hmm.
also like how they like their sound. Like I've noticed that the laugh tracks on their like videos are so fucking loud. Like I had like the volume like so high, like just trying to like
Mm-hmm.
understand like what they're saying. It's probably also because like they have like an accent compared to myself. So like it's harder to
Mm-hmm.
understand what they're saying. But like the laugh track is just like so loud. I'm just like the volume is probably like on my TV like twice as loud as I usually have it.
Yeah, I love British television. I love the like BBC, and that like that's the route that like they went when England was like, all right, how do we relate? Like, what is TV supposed to be? What does that look like? And they're like, everything's going to be public broadcast. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be funded by the people. And like, that's how we're going to do this. And it's just so like I just enjoy that a lot, and then I enjoy kind of where they've come from that. I don't know, and then just British humor is so fun.
Yeah. It seems like they have like so many like comedy shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was watching, it was the TV show is like a mashup between like a comedy show and like this show called Countdown, which kind of seems somewhat similar to like Wheel of Fortune or something, like a very non-comedial show. And like on the show, like you get like 9 letters and you have to like create like a word. And like the other game they play on the show is like you get like 7 numbers and you have to like add them, like subtract them, multiply and divide them to get to like a gold number. Yeah, so like really hard stuff. And like the regular show, so I'm guessing like the regular show is pretty boring because it's them doing
Mm-hmm.
like math and like numbers. But then like every once in a while they have like this mashup with like a comedial show, and they have like these comedians come on and do it. And it's just like so funny, and I've been watching those. Very fun.
God, that is fun. Maybe that's what I should do. I don't have time to watch things. And when I do, I just watch like the YouTube that I get put on is the YouTube I've been on. So then I'm just watching more of that versus like outside of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Do you ever try to like influence like what the YouTube algorithm like gives you?
No, but maybe I should, because like I said, right now it's pretty stagnant in what I've kind of fallen into. And I'm like, I don't mind the whole that it's like curated for me, but I'm like, feel very unable to get out, you know?
See, like I like regularly like if there's like a channel, like I watch a couple of their videos, I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm done with them. And like YouTube keeps showing me their stuff. Like you can like there's like the three little dots thing. You can click on
Mm-hmm.
that and say like, do not recommend this channel to me. So like I'll
Mm-hmm.
just say like, stop recommending this stuff to me. Just like I give it direct
Mm-hmm.
feedback. You know,
I've
don't.
definitely done that before, but it's not anything I'm currently into. I guess I'm just into the space I'm in, but I'm like, I wish I was also in other spaces. Never satisfied, you know?
Never satisfied.
Never satisfied.
See, like when you said that, like I kind of heard like the Hamilton. Like
I know, that's what I was just thinking of.
I'm glad you're already on the same page. So I don't have to sing it. Okay, I have one last thing on my list I wanted to bring up, and it was an observation. So, like, one of my sister's friends recently had a baby, and like the father, like, and like the mom broke up.
Mm.
And I was saying that, like, well, she's gonna have to like sue him for like child support
Mm-hmm.
and want to make sure that he like helps support the child because they're no longer like dating and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like looking up all this information and like seeing like what she had to do. Cause like my sister's friends, I'm like, okay, just like tell her this and like
Mm-hmm.
do this. And like when the baby was born, I'm like, okay, you need to make sure that the father's name is on the birth certificate. So you don't have to like,
Yeah.
and she was just like, this is not your problem. Like, start doing this. I'm just like, I'm just trying to help. And it's just like, so I
Mm-hmm.
realized that I kind of like show I care and like my love language is kind of like solving other people's problems.
Mm-hmm. It's like that act of service. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, let me just, even though it's not necessarily what they wanted from you in that
Oh,
moment.
for sure. And like my sister is so irritated because like I think she doesn't even want to like meddle in that stuff. I'm like, it's your friend. You should like
Mm-hmm.
kind of help guide her and tell her like you need to be doing this.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like, you know, you don't necessarily know what the friend is or is not doing, or like their own process in it. Like, it's because I mean, it's a friend of your sister's, so it's the stuff that your sister is sharing with you, and then what she's sharing with your sister. So if your sister is not asking her, like, oh, what are you doing like legally to make sure this goes well for you, then she's not necessarily going to be told that. And if your sister is like not interested in asking those questions or feels uncomfortable asking those questions,
Oh, for
then
sure. And I very compulsively just want to like fix the situation, just be kind of like, okay, this is, you got
mm-hmm,
to do A, B, C, and D. And like, you got to talk to
mm-hmm,
the state agency and like,
mm-hmm,
you can do this in court and they'll help you. And like, if you talk to the agency,
mm-hmm,
like, they'll even like help you do the stuff in court. And it's just like,
mm-hmm.
I just want to help solve the problem. It's just like very hard for me to just be like, no, like, you're like two steps removed from this.
Yeah. Yeah, right. To like acknowledge that and be like, I have no reason to feel this way. It's like me and a friend of mine who had a baby this weekend, and she and I just recently had a falling out, and so she didn't tell me she had had the baby. Like, I found out via the Facebook post, and it had really upset me because I have been like a big part of her pregnancy. I've been an active role in her life since we've been friends, and I've been a big friend in her pregnancy. I've been someone who she's confided in, someone who supported her through it, someone who's done everything I can to make sure she's doing the best she can with everything. And a lot of the falling out was me telling her advice on her and the father of her child not being together, or and what she should do because of that, or what X, Y, and Z would look like, or this and that, and her being like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that, or not agreeing with what I'm saying, and then just us not talking for a few days or a few weeks, and then me reaching out and saying, hey, hope you're doing well. So it's just kind of weird. Like, people are going to do whatever they think is right, and then hopefully things don't go bad. So if they don't go through the court system for child support and they're like, no, I trust him, da 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 da, then it's like, okay, well, that's not going to work out. And then it's going to be worse when you finally do go. So you might as well get everything straightened out early.
Yeah, I agree that like sometimes it's really frustrating when you have an idea of like what you think is best for somebody, but you know, they have a different idea. And
Mhm.
you know, at the end of the day, it's what they think is best that happens. But you know, as a Virgo, I really hate that.
Yeah, my Virgo moon hates it. And for me, I'm like, it's your life, do whatever. I'm giving you the best advice I can as an outsider, and I'm just trying to help you with the knowledge that I do have.
Yeah.
And from experiences I see with other people and from knowing her, I'm like, you will let anyone walk all over you if you can. Like, do not let him walk all over you. Like, you have more than just yourself to think about, and it's about more than just his reaction to things, So I don't know. I wish her all the best. I'm here for her if she needs me. And obviously if your sister's friend goes to your sister for more advice, your sister has you. So
No, my sister won't involve me.
you'll just hear about it after and be like, well, did you tell her to do this? And she'll be like, no, I didn't. Shut up, Cooper.
She's like, it's not your fucking problem. I'm just like, okay.
It's so aggressive. It's not your fucking problem.
No, that's literally how my sister, like, I think said it to me. It's like, it's not your fucking problem. Stop fucking, like, doing that. It's like, okay, sorry. Just trying to help. It's just like, it's not your problem to help.
Oh, shit. You know what's something I need help with, though, Cooper, to be honest with you?
Sabrina, what do you need help with? Let me help you.
I need someone to just find me a husband.
Like, anybody? Just like...
Anybody to just...
Are we going to run a lottery?
Yeah, honestly, like... submit them, someone else pick him out, have him agree, and I will meet him at the altar. Like, I'm good at married at first sight bullshit at this point. Like, I'm exhausted. Dating is exhausting.
Well, in that case, we should maybe like try to get you set up like with one of those like TLC shows. Like, do you think they get paid to be like married on first sight?
No.
Do you think there's a lot of good brand deals? Because I think like The Bachelor and stuff, like
maybe
they end up with money because they can do stuff. But I don't know about like TLC shows. I think it's kind of like
there's like a niche, like married, like 90 Day Fiance, Married at First Sight, but I don't know like how much of them really get the like pop off on Instagram that they would hope for.
What if you did like a YouTube channel
following the like marriage after? Yeah,
just like do like the 90-day engagement, then like the marriage, the wedding, have like a wedding video, and then like the marriage, and then it's like 1 year divorce.
No divorce, not allowed. As long as there's no abuse in the relationship, no divorce.
Oh, you're real committed. You take death do us part seriously.
Yeah, for sure.
See, I don't know like how I feel about like arranged marriages and stuff like that. Like, part of it seems nice and like it seems to work for like a lot of people. I think it's like 90% of the marriages in like India are like arranged marriages, and like. It seems like the happiness levels in those marriages are like equivalent, but it's just kind of like it's hard to come from a country where like that's not the norm and just kind of be like, oh yeah, that seems fine.
Matchmaker, make me a match.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, find me a man. I just watched Fiddler on the Roof with a boy, but I watched it for class, so it doesn't count as like watching it with a boy. You know what I mean? But like the boy was
about
here.
To be like, ooh, a boy.
Yeah, but we genuinely watched the movie, and I was like, this is fine.
Was it like in person together?
Yeah.
Did you guys like share a blanket?
No, but we like cuddled on my couch.
Oh, so there was like contact?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I've hung out with him before.
Do you think you're going to hang out with him again? Because maybe it's going to be like more than just a class project.
He's not in my class. Like, I was watching it for class.
Oh, I thought it was just like a classmate.
No, I was watching it for class, and I was telling him how I was watching it. And he was like, I haven't seen that in a while. And I was like, well, I'm watching it. So, and then we were talking about how much he liked Fiddler on the Roof. And I was like, you can come over and watch it with me. And so he did. But it's 3 hours. It's a long movie.
Oh, wow. I can probably guess like what class is for. I'm guessing it's for your like logic and reasoning too.
Correct. Yeah. My logic class had us watch Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah. Speaking of long movies, I watched in like scare quotes, the like Justice League movie that came out. That's
Ooh.
4 hours.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I have not seen actual Justice League because I've been told it was trash, and I believe that. They also cut out a lot of people, and it was like, I don't understand what happened here. And I've been told the 4 hour one is a lot better. Like, everyone seems very impressed with it, except for the large amount of slow motion. I've been told that, like, in terms of story, it's good, but then, like, the other things that make it super long are kind of annoying, which is how I feel about most things. But
Yeah.
what did you think?
Yeah, they've added like 15 minutes of like new footage, but then they just made everything else like half as fast. So that's why it's 4 hours now.
That seems right.
So like, yeah, the whole movie's in slow motion. I just don't really understand it at all. It's just like, okay, we get it. It's dramatic. Why does it have to be at like half speed?
Yeah.
I don't need to watch a man run at slow motion for 2 hours.
Last night, talking about movies that are just a tad bit too long. Last night, I was watching Hustlers with my friends that I was hanging out with. I work with them, and then we got together for dinner and ended up watching a movie. And we were watching Hustlers, and we're like an hour into that movie. And I'm like, how much longer is this movie? It is a solid 2 hour movie. Like, we have an hour left of this. Like, I started to get tired. A lot of people were like, this movie's so good. Da, da, da. It is so goddamn slow. The amount of montages was ridiculous. I'm like, why are we spending 8 minutes on Christmas? And my friend's like, it's a scene. And I'm like, it's too long. We don't need 8 minutes of Christmas.
Did you watch Interstellar?
I did not know.
That was like 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, no.
It's like so long. Did you ever watch like the Lord of the Ring movies or like
Yes.
those ones are long? And there's like standard editions that are even longer.
Mm-hmm. I own them. And it's insane how long Lord of the Rings is. But they're good. I don't mind how long Lord of the Rings is, except the second one. I always fall asleep in the second one. And every time I watch the first one, it's like I'm watching a new movie. Because I just,
Like, what do you mean?
I don't retain any of it.
Oh. It's like, what are those little guys with the hairy feet? Like, I don't know what's going on here.
I don't. Yeah, bits of it feel familiar, but every time there's always something new to it. Unlike most Harry Potters, when I watch it, I know everything that's happening.
Do you like rewatching things and kind of like knowing what's coming? Because like my sister like loves that. She's like, it kind of helps her anxiety, but I'm just kind of like, I like not knowing what's coming. So that's why I don't rewatch things.
It varies. I think right now with how the world is, I much prefer like certainty in what I'm watching. So I want to watch things I've already seen or that I'm familiar with or that I've like spoiled for myself. Anything that's like high stakes or unspoiled is very heightening to my anxiety and is something that I'm like not super interested in right now. Low stakes, simple competition shows. Rewatching my favorite things is kind of where I'm at right now.
That's fair. So you said that you have like the physical DVD. I'm guessing it's not VHS, so I'm guessing it's the DVD. Are you a fan of like owning movies?
Yeah, I love owning movies. A large portion of my collection is my parents' old DVDs. So they're DVDs that have just kind of been around me since I was a child, and I've just kept them. But yeah, I love the ownership and like a physical DVD. It's just nice, especially because not everything is always streaming. So people will be like, oh yeah, you can find it streaming, but sometimes a lot of the stuff I'm looking for, I can't necessarily find on streaming, because even Harry Potter, we went over this. I couldn't find it on streaming, and then I eventually found it. But this last Saturday night, I think actually, I wanted to watch a Harry Potter, and I ended up using the DVD I had because I just couldn't like easily find it on one of the streaming sites I have access to. Because even Hulu, it like said they had it, but then they're like, with a live TV subscription, because you can get it through USA. And I was like, well, I have USA. So then like I tried to go through that with the on demand I have, and they were like, no, it's not there anymore. And I was like, I'm tired.
So is it just the DVDs like from your parents, or do you buy like new DVDs?
I do. I've bought a handful of new Blu-rays. So like I bought the Hobbit set because it was like you
Hmm.
like a DVD, a Blu-ray package. I bought the Twilight set because I was just watching those a lot, and then they kind of got off of Amazon, and then they were on Hulu, and they kind of got moved around a lot. I was like, I just want to own these. I bought
Okay.
Hairspray was one of the first movies I bought like as an adult because I was like, I really want to watch Hairspray, and I couldn't easily find it on streaming, so I bought the DVD. But yeah,
Hairspray is a great
it
movie.
is, and it's so nice to have on DVD.
Okay. Well, the reason I'm asking is because I watched a documentary about the last blockbuster in the United States on Netflix.
Oh, I've seen
And
this I've seen about this documentary, but I have yet to watch it.
yeah, and it's actually pretty good and it's cool. And it's still going. Um, last I checked, which was like sweet.
The one in
Melissa
Alaska,
spent
right?
no, it's in Oregon.
Oh, I thought the last blockbuster was in Alaska. Fake news.
No, some of like the last ones were in
Mm.
Alaska. It was like down to like three in Alaska and the one in Oregon.
Mm.
I think in Bend, Oregon. But the ones in um last one's one that's in Alaska and then it went under.
Hmm. Well, that's kind of cool that there's still one out there and that it's in the continental US instead of Alaska. Like, F Alaska.
Yeah, fuck Alaska. It's really weird because it's like a franchise, so like that's why it's like still up and going because
Uh-huh.
like the like corporate Blockbuster didn't own it; it was a franchise,
Mm-hmm.
and like now Dish owns Blockbuster, but like Blockbuster's not really a company,
Mm-hmm.
so she has to like go through Dish to like get renewed. But anyways, it's kind of interesting to know there's a little Blockbuster out there, so that's why I was interested. Like when you're like, oh yeah, I buy CD.
Yeah, I really like DVDs and Blu-rays, and I just like owning them because you never know when you're not gonna have internet or like.
And it's just nice owning it
Mhm.
because then, like, so much of our stuff is like rented these days. It's like we pay a subscription for music, we pay a
Exactly.
subscription for TV and stuff. It's like, but then, like, at the end of the day, we don't own anything. It's kind
Yeah.
of like renting an apartment versus like paying a mortgage.
Mhm.
It's like,
And even like buying digital copies of things, there's not the same kind of like permanency ownership to it of like you can decide when to not own things. Cause like when iTunes stopped iTunes and like shifted how music works through their system, like there's a lot of things that didn't carry over. Like a lot of people had issues with like music that they had owned, like now just like disappearing, or access to music that they owned through a system that wasn't compatible with how it was bought. I
yeah.
remember like reading a lot about that, or like those potential worries of that. And I'm like, I don't disagree.
Well, I think it's time to talk about the
Oh,
stars.
well, we're ready to talk about stars.
Yeah, those little balls of fire and gas and all things dangerous.
Well, let's talk about the stars. For Cooper, today the stars are telling him to really look inside of himself. It
Mhm.
notes meditation and yoga will do so much good for you and really inner reflection to really see what to do next in life. There is a note of property issues, which is kind of hilarious, and like needing to be handled with care for things. Work wise, a big break is a coming,
Ooh,
and you
just what I
are
need.
going to see some profit in ventures recently taken. You are going to do, and top it all off, you are going to do something that is going to cause great influence to someone who you want to be influenced, and there will be success your way.
Well, the investments, I did invest $5 in Bitcoin a while ago, so
It's a coming.
it's gonna get a couple bucks off of that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna get up to 7.
Mm-hmm. It says today is a good day to be friendly with Leos. So, hi, hello. How did it know?
Oh, hi. What did the stars have in store for you?
That's a great question. Looks like me socially, I'm blossoming butterfly, which makes sense. I actually hung out with people last night, so you know.
We love that.
Traveling is coming in hot. I guess I'm gonna go on a trip soon. I can only hope. Yeah, nothing too exciting. Looks like I'm going to get some luck in school and paying off a debt soon. It says paying off minor debts will help clear the financial picture, which is like, that is what they do. When you pay off a debt, it usually helps in some capacity. So we'll see how that keeps going for me. And for my love life, it is telling me that a date with someone special may not immediately materialize. So
That's unfortunate, but it's nice that you're getting like a reward in your education because you did take an exam today. So maybe that's saying that you aced it, kind of like because you felt good about it. So
I really think I did. I felt very good about it, even though I didn't study as much as I should have. I had some technical issues while I was submitting it. The professor seemed to be pretty okay with that. So it should be fine. But
crossing my fingers.
Yeah, it is kind of funny about the date, though, because I did reach out to the guy I watched Fiddler with last Monday. And I was chatting with him today about maybe coming over, and he was like, "Yeah, no, I'm not feeling the best. Sorry." He doesn't feel good today. And I was like,
that's unfortunate and kind of scary.
I know. Yeah. In this world, you can't be sick. Although he just got done with the first vaccine. He got his like 2 weeks ago.
Have you gotten your vaccine yet? Because like you did.
I did.
Oh, that's awesome.
I went last Thursday. It was.
So I'm like, you work in a restaurant, so like you're qualified in Wisconsin.
I went last Thursday. It was an hour and a half drive because you can't get anything local.
Oh, wow.
I've seen a handful of people get it local, and I'm so mad at them. Like, what? Who did you have to do?
My dad was going to have to drive like an hour and a half, but luckily he was able to like reschedule to like on Alaska, which is like way closer for us.
Yeah, so it was a long drive. It was like an easy drive there, a rougher drive back, just because like I don't want to have to drive again, you know. But yeah, it was super easy. Got to the pharmacy, was like, "Hey, I'm Sabrina. I have an appointment," and they were like, "Yeah, go take a seat, and the pharmacist will be right out for you." She called my name within like 2 minutes. Go back. Not even a minute and a half of her time, and I got my first shot, was told to wait 15 minutes and then I could leave, and then
you're just like, fuck that, and just like sprinted out the door.
No, I hung out for 15 minutes, did some perusing.
Such a rules follower.
Well, it's to make sure you don't have an allergic reaction. I would really hate to be in the middle of driving and get an allergic reaction, so.
Well, congrats on the vaccine. Seems like everyone in my life is getting a vaccine except me, but
soon.
So, you know, at some point they're going to give me one.
I think it's the middle of April is when they're opening it up to the full public.
I know that they're required to by May, but I don't remember like when Wisconsin said they're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that like Madison's going to require like everyone to get vaccinated before we come to school.
Interesting.
So if all else fails, Becky Blank will get me vaccinated.
It was easy enough. It was pretty simple. I don't know. I know quite a few people who've told me they have no plans of getting vaccinated. And I'm like, I don't know why you think that's an okay thing to just like shout at the world how much you don't care about others. But I guess it is. Okay, cool.
I just don't get how after like a year, they're just like, you know, I just don't care to end this. Like, you know.
Well, and like what bothers me is people will then cite false information about the vaccine as reasons why they're like, oh, well, I heard it does this. And I've literally looked at them and like, it doesn't. That is a lie. Like that is fake news. That is false information. That is not true. And they're like, well, I don't know. I think it's true. And I was like, it's not. Like I am telling you, the information you believe to be true is completely wrong, and I can send you proof. I had to do that to one of my friends. I had to send her 4 different articles to have her believe that the vaccine does not have the side effects she thought it did.
What did she think it had?
That it caused infertility in women.
Yeah, my like stepmom was saying that. I'm just like, no, it all took was like a Google and like the New York Times came up debunking it. But it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
well, we've talked about this. Like when people don't have like like an agreed upon foundation of like knowledge that they agree upon or like news sources that are
Mm-hmm.
agreed upon, it's just like there's no like foundation to like build mutual understanding about like what's true and what's not true. So like
Mm-hmm.
all these people are getting their
Because
news off of like
people,
Facebook and
yeah, like they'll believe like a
Twitter.
Facebook meme with absolutely no sources, but then it'll take like 5 different articles from like 5 reputable sources to confirm to them that it's not real. And I'm like, it's a Facebook post with no source. What do you mean you think it's true?
It's like, why do you think a Facebook post with no like source is more trustworthy
Mhm.
than like the fucking New York Times?
Well, and it's like, and these are also people who don't believe that, autism comes from a vaccine, right? Like the friend that I had to dispel this proof to doesn't believe that. And I'm like, okay, so
And they're not
that was,
anti-vaxxers, right? They're just this
yeah,
one
like they're
vaccine.
not anti-vaxxers. They're just against the COVID vaccine. And I'm like, you get though that like it's the same like fear mongering. Like it's not true.
Yeah.
They're like, well, how do we know? And it's like, because if you listen to people who've spent their whole life learning about viruses and learning about vaccines, they'll tell you that like long-term effects of vaccines show up within 45 days of taking it. And so they would know within 45 days if that would be a long-term cause, and they know it's not, because that's just not at all what it's there to do. So it's not at all happening. But for whatever reason, somebody was like, well, how do we know it doesn't do that? And then people were like, I bet it does that. And then that's how this spread. And now people believe things, and you have to be like, that's not true.
It's like, how do we know? We trust the experts. We listen to
Yeah.
the experts because it is too fucking hard to learn everything about everything. So what we do in the society
Exactly.
is we compartmentalize. We have people who are experts in things, and like when they have, or like when a lot of them agree on something, we're like, oh, that's probably correct.
Yeah.
But I guess that logic fails because people still don't believe climate change and all that stuff.
So stupid. What time is it? Is it time?
It's time to answer the internet's questions.
Dumbass questions for us to answer in dumbass ways. Hey. I love how you've done that in the pod, like in the thing, by the way.
I'm glad you like it.
So I have an opinion, so I think you might too. When I was younger, I would associate specific shows with specific foods. I would only be able to watch Mickey Mouse at dinner time if I was eating couscous. And I would only watch a princess show after school if I was eating Cheetos. Was this normal? Did you have any like, I'm going to be watching whatever and I have to be eating this while I'm eating it, or like while I'm watching, or like food association like that?
One, usually we answer their questions, but I guess like in this they asked our experience. So like I have had that. I don't recall like any instances like that from my childhood, but like more recently I know like when Westworld came out, I guess like I would eat ramen and like while watching like chicken ramen sriracha while like watching Westworld. And so then like for a while like I was working at Barnes Noble and like the Westworld like soundtrack came out on like DVD, and like they started playing it and like I could like taste the ramen and like as the songs are playing, it's just like that's so weird.
To be fair, this person's question is, did anyone else do this? Was this normal? So we are answering their question.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said. Like, oh, I wasn't prepared to like answer it with my life, but sure.
Sure.
Sure, I can tell you about my life.
I definitely get it more from like that side of it. Like it's not necessarily that like I could only watch like Kim Possible if I was eating like Lucky Charms or something like that. But like I definitely like there are moments that like remind me of food within that. That's like weird. Or there's like food that like if I smell it, I like there's this type of noodle that like whenever I smell it, I just like get brought back to like watching like old movie when I was like 7, and I can't remember what the movie was, but like I remember like the scene in like vivid detail. Like that's such a weird
I get
thing
those
to be
things
brought
like
back
all the
to.
time. It's just like scents and flavors and things.
Hmm.
Like my life is basically that Ratatouille scene where he like eats the food and it's like, oh,
Yeah. But I feel like with this person, it's probably just like an OCD tendency of like not being able to do something unless they're doing
well,
this exact other thing with it.
I don't even know if it's OCD. I think it's probably just like a habit that she's formed in her brain. Like she probably just
Mhm.
got so like she would eat Cheetos when watching it, but now like whenever she sees that um TV show, whatever she was talking about, her brain just like thinks, oh, Cheetos, and she's like, oh yeah, Cheetos do sound good. So I don't think it's like necessarily something like OCD, although maybe it does kind of like manifest where it's like she absolutely has to, but it's probably just like, oh, she thinks about whatever, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll do that. It's just like linkage. It's kind of like what is it called in psychology? Conditioned. She's conditioned herself to eat that food when she's on the TV show. So I think it's very strong or very far away from abnormal. Like sure, I don't think everyone does that, but that's certainly not like something to be concerned about or anything.
Yeah, I agree. The conditioning is definitely there for her. I agree. I have another question.
Yeah.
This person wants to know if this is a good Halloween costume idea. The question. Okay, so I'm Native American and my boyfriend is white. We think it's a funny idea to dress up as cowboys and Indians on Halloween, but everyone's so sensitive with everything. I'm kind of scared too. Is it offensive?
That's interesting.
Now, this person is Native American, so they are coming from that space, right? Of like, that is their heritage and their, yeah.
So I'm kind of two minds. I think if you do that, there is a fair chance that you're going to upset people. And I think as long as you're okay with that, then go for it. And, I kind of, people don't have a rebellious bone in their body. I think like every bone in my body is rebellious. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, hell yeah, go for it. Like, it's your heritage. Why not dress up for it as Halloween? And if your
Mm-hmm.
boyfriend dresses up as a cowboy, why not? It's funny.
Mm-hmm.
You guys enjoy it. As long as you're okay with
For
making
sure.
some people upset.
I think I agree. I think it's it's like you're sliding into the shtick. She's like, oh well, I'm Native American, so like I can be the Indian, and he can be the cowboy, and that's like how we can phrase it, and like we can be like, and I can like be that stereotype and like do it up. However, but I would just have her ask herself if in 10 years she'll be okay with that imagery of that photo of her in this stereotypical derogatory garb of her that white people have put on her heritage and her at the time white boyfriend, and just make sure that like if in 10 years she thinks that she'll be okay with that photo, then go for it.
I don't know. I think some of the best moments are ones that we later live on to regret. Not that some regrets are like truly like you should have done it, but sometimes it's kind of like, wow, I was young
Mm-hmm.
and bold, and I probably wouldn't do that today, but it was fun at the time.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Here's one. So, is she spreading rumors? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I recently found out for an entire year, my friend Mia blocked me on all of her socials and cropped me from all of her photos, all while calling me every day, inviting me to everything, and saying I was her close friend. It also turns out that her cousin, to whom, in the name of my friendship, lent $50,000, also blocked me and my family. Mia's close friends, all of whom I barely know, have blocked me too. I confronted Mia on why she is making everyone block me, but she is denying it and takes offense that I'm accusing her of spreading rumors.
That is wild.
Yeah, $50,000.
$50,000?
Because like I feel like I'd be so paranoid in this. Like everyone's like, why is Mia telling everyone what to block me? And just like,
Yeah, I'm upset about that too. But like also like $50,000?
yeah, there's 4 zeros behind that 5.
That like that right there. I'm just like, why'd you do that? Like, why'd you do that? How'd you do that?
I don't know. Maybe her family's fucking loaded.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like most people don't have $50,000 to lend.
Yeah. This Mia girl, like, kudos to her for getting everyone to just block you and not tell you why. But
Yeah,
also, why are you saying it's Mia if she's still talking to you? Like, are you sure she's the ringleader?
yeah, it seems very elaborate and like unlikely, but at the same time, like everyone blocked you, and that's like crazy. And like there's something going on, but maybe Mia's just a two-faced fucking bitch.
Preach.
I hope they got like some agreement for that, like $50,000 in writing.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So this one's a little serious, but I think it could be a good one to talk about. My friend is depressed and is doing drugs and self-harm. What can I do to help her? They're in high school. Her friend is figuring out her sexuality, but has very homophobic parents. The poster thinks there might be some abuse in the family, but isn't like entirely sure about that stuff. She doesn't know what to do to help her friend. What should she do?
Huh. I do definitely think that's a situation that is best resolved by talking to like guidance counselor at your school or like getting help. I think that's something that you can't solve on your own, and she needs other people to like a therapist or something. I think in that situation you should reach out to your like school guidance counselor and try to help her get help.
Agreed. So there was a response to this, and the response to it does a lot of like kind of talking the writer down and is like, hey, like this is not like all you can do is support her. Like it's not your responsibility to like make her life better unless like she wants it better, and it's not your like do not take on the burden of like her life as like yours to fix, but like offer the support that she needs. But like it does say like not to talk to her parents, and while I agree with the idea that like if the parents are part of the problem, they might not be able to be a positive part of the solution, but I do think first and foremost, especially when you are under the age of 18 and someone you know is harming themselves, get an adult involved, a trusted adult, someone who likes that kid, someone who you also like. One of your favorite teachers can be helpful. Anyone who like you know cares, and who can productively help. Ooh, sending a thank you email after an interview after receiving a verbal offer. So this person was in an interview. It went really well, was offered the position, was told they will get one, like they were interviewing for one of three positions, and was told they will get one of the positions in the interview. Do they still send the thank you email? How should they send it?
Sure, why not? I think it's just a polite thing to do to like say thank you. So I'll just say thank you for allowing me to come into interview today. It was really awesome to learn about the company, and I look forward to getting to work with you guys.
For sure. Yeah. I think the biggest thing here that they're also asking is like, how do I how do I say that like I've been told about the offer? Because they haven't gotten like the written offer. It looks like they were given the offer by HR, but then they would be sending the email to the like people who interviewed them, which were different then.
I would do it how I just said. Like I wouldn't say anything like, oh, I was given an offer in my email. I would just be like, thank you for, I look forward to like working with you guys. Saying like, oh, this kind of imply that like, well, he said like he was looking forward to working with us. So that probably means that he was offered a job. It's like, I wouldn't directly say it. I'll just kind of like more do it as subtext.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I agree. You just say, like, thank you so much for your time. I look forward to working with you.
I would
For
make
sure.
it a little bit longer, but that's like the gist of it.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Obviously, I'm just like,
That's like the bullet points.
that's the bullet points. Yeah. Make it pretty, you know?
Here's one. Sidney Powell admits to lying about voter fraud. So why is my MAGA neighbor still crying about it?
Because they don't understand how voter fraud and voter suppression work.
Because once you like pull someone into the cave, it's hard to get them out.
Preach. So bad.
Yeah.
Going from that and voter fraud and suppression, how do you tell the girl you're dating, spelled wrong, that you have a foot fetish and really like her feet?
I'll just say, hey, your feet are mighty sexy. Mind if I lick them? I don't know. We've talked on this podcast. Communication is key. So just like rip off the band-aid and
Just
talk
say
about
it.
it. It's just like, I don't know if think you necessarily say like, oh, I have a foot fetish, but you could just say like, I find your feet sexy. Do you mind?
Yeah. Cuddle in a position where like her feet are near you, like having like her resting her legs like in your lap or something. And then you're just like massaging her feet or like touching them. And you're just like, oh, I love these. And she's like, wait, what? And you're just like, your feet, they're really great. And then she can be like, do you have a, and then you go, yeah, I'm kind of into feet. Very natural.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be a big deal.
Solved.
Another happy customer, Sabrina.
All we give, happy service, 5 stars.
Yeah. The funny thing is we give this advice and like it doesn't get back to them. We're just solving the problems and just being like, go solve it on your own. Like we're not going to tell you the answer, but here is the answer for everyone else to know.
Somebody could be listening who has a foot fetish and is trying to figure out how to tell the person they love about it.
Oh, for sure. We're educating our audience. Okay, let's wrap it up, baby.
Woo! Wrap it up. Always use protection.
I kind of stole your line there. Wrap it up, babies, like what you say.
I know. If you enjoyed this episode and want to help keep Bitch Said What going, consider joining our Patreon. You can join through the link in the show notes. We would also like to thank our patrons, David, Aaron, and John. Your support means the world to us.
If you want to share your own hot takes on today's topic, or just say hi to Sabrina and me, connect with us on social media. Our handles are also posted in the show notes.
If you just loved what you heard today, consider giving Bitch Said What a rating or review. We would love to hear your feedback and ratings to help the podcast grow. And honey, we love a grower.
Until next time, stay thirsty.